Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories. Hi, I'm Shay. I have 3 glitches to share. 1 that happened years ago and 2 that happened on the same day less than a month ago. So here goes. Buckle up. This might be long ones. Sorry. We love long ones. Glitch number 1. I live on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas in a very tiny town. About 45 minutes from me is another small town called Wister. It was a hot summer day, so my mother and I had chose to take my 4 kids to a splash pad in the town of Wister. To get there from my home, there is only one main road that runs straight through. So from my place to there, you only make 2 turns. This is important. You make one left turn onto that long stretch and then another left turn into the driveway of the splash pad parking lot after the 45-minute drive. We get there, kids play for a couple of hours, and then it's time to go home. Of course, we make the right turn out of the park to begin the 45 minutes back. After about what seemed like forever of driving, my mother and I suddenly stopped laughing and talking and just looked around because neither of us recognized where we were at. We noticed we were in a construction zone and knew there was no construction on our road home. We kept driving a few more minutes before deciding together to just turn around to see if we could figure out where we had stopped recognizing things. We drove for a long while and suddenly we came back upon the splash pad. We had been driving the opposite way even though there's no way we could have even mistakenly done so. There's only one turn. So we continued to drive another 30 minutes in this direction, assuming that we had just somehow lost our minds. We then come across the construction zone. Now we get extremely freaked out. My 3 youngest kids didn't have a clue, but my oldest was now herself almost in a panic and crying that she wanted to go home. We turn around once more and I'm thinking we are now stuck in a loop. Oh my God. Thankfully, this time we made it out. We haven't been back to the splash pad there since. Story number 2. Recently, my husband had to open up the door panel of our dishwasher because it stopped working. He had to remove just 2 screws to open up the compartment where the motherboard is, and so he placed the 2 screws in between his phone and the screwdriver so that the screws wouldn't roll off the counter. He did what he needed to do while I stood by and watched in case he needed a hand or a tool. He got ready to close it back up, and both screws were now missing, despite neither of us having left the room or the spot. We searched all over the counter, floor, in the dishwasher, and anywhere in the immediate area without finding them. Finally, my husband goes out to his toolbox to see if he could find any of this unique type of screw to replace the ones that have now somehow disappeared while I continue to look. I was crouched on the floor when my husband comes back in and says, "Oh good, you found them." I was confused when I stood up and said, "No." And there, between his phone and the screwdriver, sat the screws. We picked up both those objects more than once and there were no screws, yet there they were. We stared at each other for a bit before just deciding not to even try to explain it away. Oh my God, I wonder if you switched timelines for a second to a timeline that didn't have the screws and then you switched back, or if the screws somehow just disappeared and popped into another timeline and then popped back. That's so crazy. Story number 3. This one has pictures. My mother-in-law goes to Branson every year, sometimes multiple times, because we only live about 3 hours from it and she likes to shop there. Sometimes she takes her grandkids along for fun. Last year, she took just my 2 youngest along, and during a light rain, she bought my daughter October. What a cute name. She bought my daughter October a cute umbrella of her own. The night before the above story, she just happened to be looking for said umbrella to take to school. She kept telling me she was positive she had left it on the bus. However, I found it in one of our rooms and she took it with her. So the next day, same day as the double screws, she gets off the bus and has 2 umbrellas. The bus driver had picked up hers out of her bus seat just after he dropped her off. I thought, okay, maybe another kid has one like it because we aren't the only ones who frequent Branson. But the fact that the bus driver saw her drop it and the fact that she had broken one of the metal arms in one place and both umbrellas had the exact same broken arm piece. Let's look at the pictures. Okay, these are the 2 umbrellas. Let me move down a little bit. And that is the same broken arm piece on both umbrellas. Do you see it? So in the same day, the screws disappear and then reappear in the same place. And the daughter comes home with 2 umbrellas because maybe the other umbrella, I wonder, when did the other umbrella, when did the first umbrella appear? Did the first umbrella appear in the room the same time that the screws reappeared? Or maybe they appeared the same time that the screws disappeared. So they hopped a timeline to where those screws weren't there, but there was an umbrella there. And then they hopped back and then the screws came back, but then the umbrella stayed in another. I'm honestly not sure. I don't know, but something weird happened and I love it.